Oh, look at that. I'm cutting off the countdown early. What are you going to do about it? How y'all doing today? By the way, we got some new background music and I'm kind of excited. We got like the most chill vibes I could find. Welcome to Saturday. Oh gosh. We're already starting off with something in my throat. This is good signs of things to come, I guess. How y'all doing? Welcome. We've changed up some things here a little recently. Whoops. I just realized that I didn't turn some things on. But that's okay. That's good. We've got a nice new rotating picture thing going on over there that I want to add more stuff into, but for right now, you know, we're just it's gonna be chill. We have some new features. I can zoom in. I can really zoom in. I finally got around to setting that stuff up. It took, I don't know why I dragged my feet for so long, but it took like 5 minutes to do something like this. It is what it is, I guess. Also, microphone and phone. You guys need to swap positions here because you're blocking each other. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, it's Saturday, everyone. Whoops. I was still zoomed in. I hope you're all having a good day. This week's been it's been an interesting week so far. Been a lot of work stuff, a lot of YouTube stuff, a lot of friends stuff, a lot of family stuff. There's just been a lot of stuff in general. Like so much stuff. I'm going to talk about it because, you know, that's what we do. Gosh, I love some of these Photoshops that I did. It's nice to use old things. And plus on top of that, we got this super chill music that I am super happy about. I need to fix the loop a little bit because for some reason it's not working right, but it's a minor inconvenience. We'll get it all fixed. Everything's going fine, you know, all that jazz. But I'm just gonna continue to vamp for a little bit while I wait for anyone who wants to join. Hey, what's up, Susan? How you doing? And welcome in, Pichu. How you doing? Happy Saturday. We're gonna see how long this stream ends up going for because I do have a pretty big headache, but I did do some stretching to try and help with it because it's because I slept wrong. You know, that seems to be what always goes on these days. But what else is new? Gosh, I love the chill vibes of this music. It's so good. Hey, what's up, Carol? Welcome in. How you doing? Oh wow, popping my neck looks so. That is some extreme movement right there. But only when I pop it one way. It doesn't quite go as far the other way. That's funny. We're oh, I do have some other exciting news to go over. So I have received confirmation that the King cover that I was working on has moved into production as far as like the audio and stuff is. I'm super excited to see how it turns out. This is kind of a first for me, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and I finally just pulled the trigger using, you know, the 1,000 subs as an excuse. So yep. that you can see the artwork over there that'll be used in the video right now. It's looping through it. So yeah, I made that cover. I know it's not really in line with anything I do, but you know, it seemed like it's something I had to try. So I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out. It might not turn out great. It might turn out awesome, but we'll see. We'll see. I personally think, I mean, I talked to the guys before I commissioned it. Hey, what's up, Julius? How you doing? And Vespa, welcome, welcome. How y'all doing? But yeah, I talked to the guys that I commissioned the audio mixing from. I was very upfront. And I was like, hey, you know, how much can you guys fix this? And they're like, oh, well, you know, send us what you got and we'll tell you how bad it is. And I sent them what I had and they're like, oh, this isn't too bad. So I don't know. We'll see how it is. The ceiling is up, it seems. Oh, I hope you're having a good weekend, Julius. We haven't talked in a very long time. I think the last time was Among Us, and that was like 7 months. Oh my gosh, that was a year ago. Oh baby. Oh, a whole year's gone by so fast. It's kind of crazy. Time moves too fast, guys. It just moves too fast. But I don't know, it's been a really fun year so far. Time flies when you're having fun or when you're just straight busy all the time. Which is, I kind of fall into that latter category. Because don't get me wrong, I have fun doing what I'm doing, but like more recently rather than previously, I've been really pushing hard to do a lot of stuff, sometimes a little too hard, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But man, it's so funny because last week was, you know, our 12-hour stream that celebrated 1,000, and this whole week just blew by. I barely had time to register that everything happened before, you know, we're here today. We're already a fourth of the way through October, which is, oh my gosh. I feel like the more stuff I try and do, the less time I have. But not even because I have less time, it's just like it's all of a sudden the weekend, and then I'm like, oh no, what happened to the rest of the days? And then I've got like, you know, but I was productive. You know, I put out 2 videos. I'm here streaming. I'm going to put out another 2 videos next week. That's hopefully going to be my standard from now on, is 2 videos a week type of a deal. I would like to do more, but I don't think, I think if I try and push that line right now, I'm just going to crash and burn. Because right now it's still a little much, especially when I make a video that is the first video that I've ever made that's lost me subscribers. We're going to talk about that too. Oh gosh. I've never experienced that, but needless to say, yeah. It's interesting. See, I also did that, Julius, but that's back when I was like trying to stream 5 days a week and make a video. That just, for the position I'm in, I just don't have that time because, you know, I do work a full-time job and things like that. So I don't have that time, and I barely have enough time to be doing this. If I'm being perfectly honest, but we'll see. My kind of hope, and we'll see how tenable this is, but since we did hit 1,000 subs, we're probably going to hit monetization by the end of this month. Probably, if things continue as they are, we'll hit it. Funnily enough, I could just hit monetization if I unprivated, you know, a few months worth of streams. Actually, hold on, let me pull this up, because this was something that I was looking at earlier. So for those, you know, I mean, you guys know me, I obsessively keep track of numbers and all that, but there's a few months of streams that I privated, like basically everything up until January of this year is gone. It's done. So it's obliterated, and that is what it is. And I don't know, the content I made before that doesn't really fit what I'm doing now, so that's why it's all gone. And then up until recently, I left all my streams private, or well, not private, but unlisted. And but what's funny to me is some people actually do watch the streams now. This is not a sensation I've ever had before. Maybe it's because I have 1,000 subs, I don't know, but people watch the streams after they're done. Not very many, but a couple, and that's awesome. So I'm kind of just leaving them up. I'm going to be leaving them up for at least a month or two. It's kind of like a test to see like how they do longer term, if they're worth it, if I can kind of structure these streams a little bit more so that they're more interesting on a rewatch. So we'll see. I have some ideas for how I want to structure streams in the future, but we'll see. It's kind of on the low end of the content. I don't even know what the right word I want to use here is. It's like, it's just low on my list of priorities because we're, I know you can't see it. Oh, wait, is the cat? No, the cat isn't in here. I was going to turn on the cat cam, but, and then show you the list of stuff I'm working on. There's a lot. I think I started, yeah, a little bit more podcasty, Emlo would be the best way to describe it. Not like super podcasty, but, and I'll admit, I kind of am ripping this off from another YouTuber called VTuber Senpai, because that's how he's been doing his streams, and it really works. But just making sure that I have something that I'm planning on talking about that's more in the educational space. It's like, for instance, today, at some point in time, we will talk about Burnout, because that's something that kind of sucker punched me in the gut this week, and I'm still trying to power through. Funnily enough, though, streaming is like, I've gotten to a weird point in my like content journey where streaming is relaxing. This is what I do when I want to just chill. I don't know. It's just good. I don't really have to have a filter. I can just kind of talk with you guys, and even though we'll be going over something, you know, I guess in educational, shall we say, it's still just good, you know. Plus, I also don't try and stream for a million hours except for last week. And man, did last week remind me like, oh, I am not a marathon streamer. I will never be that. That is not me, dog. Oh gosh. I just like run out of stuff to do because, I mean, anyone who's been here for a long time knows that I did used to be a gaming streamer, and like that's what my stuff was focused around. Every once in a while we would do more unique stuff, like we did Akinator to find VTubers. That was fun. We've done Photoshop abominations. That's always fun. And you know, other stuff like that. And I tried to transition into more of that as time went on, but it just ultimately didn't end up working well. And so then I transitioned into the, you know, the sphere that you guys know me in now, the educational sphere, and things have been going pretty well. We're continually growing every month, or at least we have been for the last 6 months. So that's good. Hopefully we will continue to do that as we move into the new year. We're at about hold on, let's see. We're about 2.6% of the way to my ultimate YouTube goal, or at least the goal that lets me consider this a full-time job. And that's 1 million views a month. That's like my first YouTube goal. That's when I can like take things serious. Well, I mean, I'm taking things serious, but that's when it's like, hey, this makes enough money to replace my job. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. The thing that I'm really starting to recognize, though, is when and if this becomes my livelihood, I have to be prepared for that, because that's going to be rough. And I don't think I'm mentally ready for that. I think I'd probably have like a mental breakdown, if I'm being honest. If like right now I was making the exact same amount of money, but it was dependent upon how good my next couple videos were, I would be sweating. I'd be sweating a lot. So, oh gosh. But it's been enough time, so let's go ahead and hop into the shenanigans known as Burnout. Actually, hold on. Well, yeah, this actually will tie into the whole theme of Burnout, because that's something I have come to realize is a pressure that I've always talked about, but it kind of hit me this week. Is that all those thoughts of like, when you do something bad, that's not just like, oh, I had a bad week. That's like, wait a second, there might be less money coming in, which if you're doing this as your job is, that's got to be a mental blow that I've always thought about it, but I didn't really think about it, you know? Oh gosh. But yeah, let's go ahead and move into things. Also, sorry, I'm a little distracted because I know I started the stream talking off about the King remix. The guy just messaged me. He's like, hey, someone else canceled. Guess what? We're doing yours tomorrow. So the King remix might be here a lot faster, and I'm not ready for it. I haven't edited the video. So if I get it, that's what we're doing next week, is I'm going to try and figure out how to make that, because I am so excited for that. That's crazy. Yeah. Wow, that certainly brightened my day. I wasn't expecting that. See, that video in particular was one of the main motivators for the entire month of September, because it's, even if it doesn't turn out to be amazing, because I mean, I know my singing, it's not going to be amazing. I think it'll be good with them tuning it, but the point is it's something I've always wanted to do. I've wanted to make like a high quality music video production, and I'm doing it. And boy, howdy, was this expensive. Oh gosh. So I don't know. It's one of those bucket list ideas that I've really wanted to do for a long time. And once it's finished, that's going to continue to be a source of like, we went for it, you know? And I think that's a feeling that not enough people really capitalize on, is doing these new things, because sometimes they'll turn out like what happened on Thursday, and sometimes they'll just be super motivating. So let's talk about the latest video, shall we? The latest little news segment that I started, called This Week in Streaming, actually uses almost this identical setup, because I really like how this looks, and I thought it would be good for like a newsroom format, you know? So made that video. Earlier in the week, I made the PNG video. Last week, I made the half-hour long granddaddy, like, this is how to be a VTuber video. And all three of them had very interesting results. And this is kind of what put me into burnout mode, where I was, I still am. I'm trying to get over it. It's rough, I'll be honest. But what kind of put all this together is, so I made the huge half-hour long video. First time I've ever made a video even close to that long. My previous longest, I think, was 12 minutes. And it was just a tutorial video that needed to be 12 minutes long. I don't know, making tutorials is not particularly mentally taxing on me, because there's not like a whole lot of emotion or anything I have to put into it. It's just, I am telling you how to use a program. Not a whole lot of forethought there, you know? I can give my little spiel in the beginning and end of like, oh, this stuff is awesome. But otherwise, you know, you don't really have to have a strong opinion about what you're talking about. You can just, you're there to solve a problem. People want to know how to use the program, you tell them. Also water. So then I made this giant half-hour long video talking about, in my conclusive thoughts about a lot of the VTubing stuff. Took a lot out of me. I probably could have made it into like 7 videos. And in retrospect, I probably should have. But it did okay. Did someone say water? Hey, Sharkatron, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. We're talking about burnout. Also, wait, who did someone ping me? No, okay, cool. Not an important ping, at least. So yeah, I made the half-hour long video. You know what? Let's just pull up numbers, shall we? By the way, I can do stuff like this now. Whoops, wrong button. That is definitely the wrong button. I can zoom in. Ah! Wait, oh, why is chat not on this screen? Chat hasn't been on this screen the entire time? Oh my gosh. There we go. You guys are supposed to be on the couch. There we go. I can't believe I didn't notice that. That is what they call a mistake. Yeah, that's a mistake. All right. So, whoops, I'm pushing all the wrong buttons. So yeah, let's actually let's look at numbers, because I mean, you guys know me, and admittedly, looking at numbers is why you can get into burnout in the first place. But I think it's important to illustrate a point here. So let's hop over here. Actually, wait, hold on. Let's log in first. Make sure there's no crazy shenanigans going on up there. Oh gosh, this music's so good. All right, so let's look here. Boom, there we go. Why is chat on here twice? Oh gosh, there we go. I put chat on the wrong layer. That's why I couldn't see it before. Whatever, it is what it is. All right, so let's zoom in here a little bit. Let's see what caused the awesome Raelice to experience burnout. Oh, that doesn't sound self-centered at all. So there we got this guy. Good old complete guide to becoming a VTuber. Which is actually changing titles and stuff a bunch right now. But this video, while having an awesome like ratio, is kind of a dwarf in compared to like some of the more recent videos, as you can tell. It made me sad because it took me like 2.5 weeks to make. And man, can it be demotivating when like your biggest piece of content is, it's well received by you guys, you know, the people that are here and subscribed and all that. You guys liked it, which is awesome. I'm glad that I'm at least appeasing you, but it wasn't super searchable, didn't really pick up any YouTube traffic. Now it's only been a week, so that's the thing I have to keep in the back of my mind, is some of my videos take freaking forever. And that's kind of the only reason why I'm still sane, is because I know videos can take a long time to pick up. In fact, let's go to an example real quick. Oh, I'm way too zoomed in. Let's zoom out once. Let's go here. My all-star video. So you see that graph? You notice how nothing happened for a freaking month? Like that's how long a video can take before YouTube's like, hey, this is a good video. Well, in this case, it happens to be Google who says it's a good video, but you get the point. It can take a month for stuff. But let's go back to the good old cause of the problem, shall we? So we made this super awesome video. I actually still think it's good. If I was to remake it, there was stuff I would change, but I mean that's true of anything, you know? You can always look back and see what you could have done better. But, you know, it came out. It still has a lot of watch time, even for its low view count. So, you know what? At the end of the day, I was still okay with it. It kind of stung because I put so much effort into it and didn't really get rewarded for it. Now, however, something really awesome came from that video, which was the video I posted earlier this week. And By the way, I'm now a believer of what causes burnout is the highs and the lows. If you're constantly high or constantly low, you're fine. But if you're doing this fluctuating crap, that's when it hurts. That's when it's bad. So during that video, I noticed a nice little spike in my retention. See that nice, well, maybe I'm blocking it. No, you can see it. That nice big old spike. I was like, what on earth are people rewatching? And they're, of all things in the entire video, they're like, we want to know what programs are used for PNG. Bad for me. Ups and downs are bad for you. Your content is kind of agnostic. It doesn't care. And I firmly believe that now. You can put out a bad video and it doesn't hurt your next one. It just hurts you mentally. Boy, howdy, does it hurt mentally though. But so what came out of this is a lot of people are like, hey, what programs use PNGs? And I'm like, I would have thought that's something everyone knew, but apparently a lot of people didn't know about this program called VatoTube Mini. And so I made a video about that. And as you can see here, like, look at the comparison in these numbers. Like, it's a lot higher. So that was like an awesome video. It's currently the best performing on my channel right now. So that put me in a super high mood. Like, oh yeah, let's freaking go. We did it. We understand YouTube. Let's go. And then that added a whole bunch of ideas. All the Twitch stuff happened. All the Facebook stuff happened. YouTube announced more stuff. I'm like, you know what? You know what seems like a good idea is let's do a news segment every week. You know, not necessarily going into super high detail, but just letting people know about stuff that I think is important that happened in the streaming sphere. You guys mostly liked it. Some other people didn't. But it kind of crashed and burned a little bit. I mean, it came out 2 days ago, right? But it's a news type video, which means it doesn't, like, if you're doing those like news segment type stuff, they're not meant to be long-term stuff. Like, they kind of get their views and they're done because, and you know, that's the nature of news, right? You're relevant for that day. And then tomorrow's a whole bunch of new other junk, but that's okay. That's not why I made it. My thought process behind making a news segment type thing was not to, you know, try and like drama bait or any of those other shenanigans. I literally just started it because I'm like, hey, there's stuff that I would like to have known. If not everyone's following all the YouTube stuff, you know, it would be nice to know. So that's why my segments, it's pretty short. I only go over things pretty minimally, and there's nothing really drama-y or like super fascinating about it. It's just, you know, stuff I think you should know. Which controversy? The Twitch? Wait, what controversy did I talk about? The data leaks? I don't know. I don't really see that as a controversy. I guess that is a controversy. I viewed it more, and I tried to state that in my video. I might not have done a good job of it, but the reason why I brought it up is because, like, it's a big deal. The site was hacked. You should change your passwords and stuff. Like, that was the point. I don't think I really talked about anything controversial. I mentioned it, I guess, but you know, it's more the reason why I included it was like, hey, this site got hacked. That, you know, since my niche is streaming and tutorials, that seems to be like, it seemed to fit. but we'll kind of get into that. Sorry, don't worry, but more like issue at hand. Yeah. Tutorial. There's only so many tutorials I can do, you know? And there's still a lot more to go before I feel like I've covered the breadth of VTubing that I want to. But I primarily want to be in the informational sphere. That's where I want to reside. So news kind of made sense to me when I tie it all back into things. Because I think, as every tutorial person ever, you eventually want to move on from tutorials. There's only so many times you can talk about the same thing. Hey, welcome, Axel. How you doing? How you doing? But yeah, so we had that we had that low followed by a very high. Like, I'm still ecstatic about how well that video did. I like my thumbnail. I like the reception it's gotten. You know, it's awesome. And then we did the news segment, and the news segment thing did interesting. It's, and by that I mean, it's the only video that has negative subscribers for me. That's a first for me. Wasn't quite ready for that, I guess. You know, it makes sense. But I don't know. That big old -1 has been messing with me a little bit this week. Otherwise, it's like a middle of the pack video, as you guys can kind of see over there. You know, it's nothing special, nothing crazy. It's actually got really good audience retention, which is awesome. It's sitting at like 60-something%, which is, wait, where's that engagement? Yeah, 60%, which is pretty good. It's actually above, like, look at the graph. It's actually like super above everything I've done. So people are watching it, but I don't know. I probably just have to give it more time, and I'm definitely overreacting with thoughts and stuff. But that's kind of the point, is that, like, these things are what for me has led to like that super hard feeling of burnout, and it's something that I'm really trying to push through. Is because we started off with a low, we went to a really high, and then we went back down to a low, and that's, man, that is crushing for motivation. It really is. It sucks so much. Oh gosh, it hurts. And then on top of that, you know, you have real life stuff. You know, work has been crazy this week. I've got some family stuff going on. I've got a trip to see my grandma, who's not in the best health, coming up here pretty soon. And so, like, and then we're moving into Halloween stuff, and pretty soon we're moving into Thanksgiving and Christmas, and just a whole bunch of stuff that there's not one individual piece that like pushes you down. It's the combination of all of them. That's the problem. Am I planning on a short break? No. I might like not upload 2 videos one week, but I don't feel like I need a break in that sense. I just need to get better at not getting too attached to one single idea, which is something I struggle with. And I'm actually doing fine. It's just I'm more frustrated than depressed, which I think is the better state to be in. It's like I'm super annoyed that, you know, I'll keep it real, you know. I am super annoyed that the new segment video lost me a subscriber. I don't think it was, I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. But, you know, that's the emotional side of me talking. Hey, Randa, welcome. How you doing? And so like that's the emotional response of when something bad happens, you get upset. That's true of every single person, you know? But then the logical side starts to kick in after a day or so, and it's like, no, it just had a bad first day. Like, look at it again in 2 weeks and let's see where it's at. So that's the phase that I'm at right now, is like looking at past numbers, and that's why it's so important to just make a bunch of stuff, in my opinion, because one of the primary ways you can avoid this feeling of burnout is you can look at past things you've done and how long they've taken to like really bear fruits. Hello, Emi Momo. Welcome. I am doing well. I hope you're doing well. Happy Saturday. But yes, that's why like having that backlog of stuff that, like, specifically my best video ever took an entire month to get to where it's at, like to do as good as it's doing. And that's something that I just have to like keep in the back of my mind when something that I put out that I felt was good, isn't performing quite as well as I want. Is I have that past experience of, oh, I just need to be patient. And if at the end of the month, it's still bad, then I can go back, look at what I did in that video and look how to, avoid the mistakes I made. Or if it did really well, like, okay, how do I replicate that for other videos? And the more you do that, the more knowledge you have that, things can just take time. But that's really hard to keep in perspective when you're looking at things right now. That's so hard to keep things in perspective. So that's a lot of my thoughts about burnout. And also it's funny because the other thing that kind of led to this is I don't push out content unless I feel that it was good. Now there's always mistakes that happen in videos that sometimes are really funny, sometimes are a little bit less funny and bad, that like, whoops, I made a mistake here. But for the most part, everything I put out, I'm genuinely actually proud of. It's like, yes, good video, let's go. And that's almost worse. Oh gosh. When you're like, yes, this is awesome, and then it doesn't do as well as you want, that's what hurts. And that's where you really have to take that step back. You have to look at what worked and what didn't, and then try and use that information for the next video. And eventually you will build up the skills, and you'll be able to occasionally make those really good videos while still making a bunch of, underperformers. That's kind of the entire history of my channel, if I'm being honest. I make like, let's put this back on here. Let's look at this again. This is how I personally try and deal with burnout. And when I am feeling, oh, I forgot, guys, don't hold it against me, but I used to be a League of Legends clipper. The day that I have a video that passes this privated one, it will be a good day. Oh gosh, I forgot about that. That was from 6 years ago. Oh my gosh, I'm so old. Oh my gosh. Wow. But all that other, oh wait, hold on. There's a lot of other stuff on here. One second. Maybe we look at this a little bit differently. Man, there's a lot of stuff here. I forgot about. Guys, I've done YouTube for a while. Just saying. But what's kind of interesting, oh, actually here, we'll show it here. This is a good way of showing off like my overall stuff. So I want to pull your attention to those top 5 videos. They kind of overshadow the rest of my entire content. And as you go, as you scroll down, we get to lower and lower and lower and lower stuff. So that I occasionally make good videos, and it's been happening more often, so I want to do more of that. But yeah. Hello, I have a very unrelated question, but if VTKS isn't working, should I try updating it? Yeah, what version are you on? I put out a new version last weekend. It should have some fixes for some things, but not working is you'll have to be a little bit more specific. If you're talking about YouTube, there was a bug that I wasn't aware of on YouTube that made it only work for an hour, but I fixed that. So you should be able to, yeah, new update should have some fixes. But if it doesn't work, hit me up in the Discord and let me know, because I do want to fix that. But yeah, so as you can see from my glorious videos, there's a big difference between your least performing videos and your best performing videos, you know? And that's another thing that I want to talk about, which again, it kind of led into my burnout, if I'm being honest, is a very good idea can super overshadow a lot of bad ideas. Like, let's take a look at most recently these 2 PNG videos that I did. So we got the how to be a PNG tuber with like the Discord reactive images. And then we have the PNG tubers got a massive upgrade with VadoTube Mini. Those 2 videos, which are both fairly recent, by the way, are equal to like the next, like all of my videos. Basically, the top 5 is like 90% of my channel. Hey, thanks. I like my outfit as well. I want to get a new one soon, but we'll see. There we go. Yeah, so that's what's frustrating is when you think you have a really good idea and you make it and then it's not a good idea, apparently. You know, that's rough to deal with. Just one more thing that leads into burnout, you know. And so I've talked about all the things that cause it. So let's talk about, you know, how do you avoid it? You know, how do you deal with it? Well, the thing that works for me is take a day, take 2 days, you know, walk away. Try to not obsess. And, you know, I know that's rich coming from me because that's almost all that I do is obsess. But try to not obsess. Try not to constantly look at the numbers. Try not to, you know, check on it every once in a while. You know, just give it its time to really figure out, like, was this a good idea? Was this a bad idea? And funnily enough, you can't really tell if a video was a good idea or a bad idea until you're like a week into the video. Because again, you know, you'll see how it initially does, but even 2 weeks down the road, you know, it might get picked up, maybe even a month. So there's, what I try to follow is actually something that Ludwig said on stream once. He looks at his videos after a day, a week, and then a month to see like what worked, what didn't. And that's honestly a really good take, because your first day is primarily views from your subscribers. So people that are already watching you will you know, watch your stuff on day one. The algorithm will start to pick up people for, you know, days 2 through 30 essentially. But after a week, you can kind of see where it's stabilized. And after a month, if the algorithm was going to pick it up, it will probably have done it by then. But that's a good time to, you know, look at the video, see what's stabilized. Like, was your retention good? Was all this other stuff good? What about this video was good? Ah, water, so good. And then, you know, you go from there. The other thing is, to anyone who hasn't done this, I can't recommend this enough. Don't look at your freaking views obsessively. There's a lot of extensions you can install that will like show how many views you're getting per hour, and it will update every minute and all this other stuff. It's a bad time. Just don't do that. I did that for a long time, and it freaking sucks. You get so attached to that number, and it just drives down your mentality, because you see the number go down, you take that as a personal attack on yourself, and that's just not something anyone wants. So you gotta stop looking at numbers essentially. And then you have to take a step back again, like I said before. Start working on your next project. How do you create a situation where you'll be, how do you not create a situation where you'll be stuck creating one type of content? Well, here's the thing. Let me all right, here we go. We're going to zoom in for this one. You should stick to one type of content. And what I mean by that is you should stick to the content you're good at, because in general, the better you are at something, the more attention and good stuff it receives. Now, when I say one type, you can be an entertainer, and that's a gigantic spectrum. Even within my sphere, I try to be like, if I was going to give you the elevator pitch about my channel, I would say I'm a VTuber who does informational content about VTubing and content creation. There you go. That is my one focus. There's a lot I can do inside that one focus, and while I might, you know, eventually drop tutorials, as long as I'm still doing stuff related to that sphere, it's all connected. You know, it's all about teaching people stuff that I have learned that I feel will help them. Every time you try and branch out of that, which sometimes you do, it generally doesn't go well. But if it's the direction you feel your content has to take, then you should do it anyways, because the most important thing is, in my opinion, for doing this is making sure your passion about what you're talking about comes through. Because if that doesn't work, no one's going to give a crap. Like, no one is going to care about your content because you don't care about it. So, but that's difficult to say, because like even me trying that news segment, which I thought fit within my niche, and I still do think that, by the way, it is obvious that it was different enough that people weren't used to that, you know? It was kind of like well, what the heck is he doing? But that is the direction that I kind of want to go in the future, is more informational style that's kind of agnostic to VTubing. I still want to do VTubing stuff, but I mean, you guys, for anyone who's been around for a while, you've seen me do the non-VTubing stuff. Like, that's not new. It's, my focus is about content creation. That's what this channel is about. Is it always what it's going to be about? Who knows? We'll see. But once I move on, that's going to be the new focus, is everything's got to tie into my new singular focus. Because if you're trying to spread yourself too thin, you're never going to get good at anything. So the way that you create a situation where you're not doing just one thing is you decide on what you want your overarching focus to be. So if that's entertainment, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with entertainment that would fit, even if you, like, your success takes off because of, let's say, just because I know Rando, let's say Rando, you become a hilarious Tetris YouTube commentary guy for some reason. I don't know how that would happen, but you know what? Anything's possible. And your Tetris videos are all that seem to work. Well, look at what you do in those Tetris videos and see if you can transition it to something else, like to expand your options. If you're just providing good commentary, it's like, well, that's a skill that could translate to other, you know, maybe other puzzle games that you enjoy, maybe other just generic things. And so as long as your core concept was like, I just want to entertain people with my commentary, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. And you will have to accept that some people do not want to follow you through your various activities. Maybe they only wanted to follow you because you are in my case, tutorial guy. Maybe that's the only reason why you're here, is you came for an answer to a question, you subscribed, and as long as I continue to tell you stuff, you'll stick around. But if I don't, you'll move on. That's something that we have to live with. Because not everyone will stay loyal to you. The only thing that you can do is to ensure that you're making the best quality of stuff that you can, and that it's adding value to someone's life. Because that's honestly the only way people pay attention to you. I very much believe that. And if you can build yourself up as the type of person that people establish a connection with you and what you do, they'll follow you. They'll follow you. I don't know if that really answered your question, but that's my philosophy, is everything I do is with the focus of bringing information to people that I wish I would have known. That's genuinely, like, if you boiled my entire channel down, it's, I want to teach people about stuff I wish I knew before I learned it. And I think as long as that's my focus, that's fine. I asked them to see other channels that try branching out that just have abysmally bad views. Like I said, that's the thing, is I actually mentioned this in the long video. There's a thing called consistency of content. And this actually does tie into burnout pretty bad, because if you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over, it weighs on you. And so you try and break out, but I think that it's a lot of people just don't break out in the right way. And I don't really know what the right way is, because obviously my few attempts at it have been not great, you know? So that's a skill I'm still learning. But, you know, as long as you're really trying to add value to people, even if your initial attempt doesn't work, you'll eventually find something that does. So the other problem is, I think Oh, is this something I want to bring up? Yeah, okay, we're going there. I'm also of the opinion that most of the time the reason why people want to break out is because they realize what they're doing doesn't add a whole lot of value to people's lives because it doesn't fulfill themselves. And that's honestly why some of the big YouTubers, like, their stuff always looks similar because they've figured out what makes them happy. They figured out that the stuff that they can create that makes them happy and that makes you happy. And that's the ultimate balance you want to hit, is making something that you enjoy and that your followers enjoy. And it's something that you can just do forever. But as with anything, like, you will evolve and change over time. Even if you're making the same type of stuff, you will eventually reach a point where you have to move on to something new. And that's always scary. And especially on YouTube, that can jeopardize a portion of your following. But as long as it's something you're passionate about, I firmly believe that if you're willing to invest the time and skills to get good at that thing, your people will follow you. Always, that's what I hope. But, you know, like I said, I've had several unsuccessful attempts at things. So we'll see how that goes. Back, something that comes to mind is back when I was doing my daily shorts during July, right? That was actually a good, that was a good example of this, where I tried to branch out into something and was like, wait a second, is this actually something I'm passionate about? And turns out it wasn't. So I don't know, there's just a lot of stuff that can go on. It's something that I hope to develop a better answer for as time goes on, as I continue to branch out myself. Because, like I said, you guys know me. I only do things when I feel like they add value. And like the shorts phase, I actually liked doing them, but I realized that what I was doing was what I was trying to avoid doing in the first place, which was making low effort, well, not low effort, but like lower quality, higher frequency content. And that's not something that I personally want to do. I want to try and make every video something I'm proud of. And when I reach that point, then I don't know. I think that'll just come through, you know? When I am proud of every video and I think it's an asset to your guys' lives, you can't not find success that way, you know? When you're feeling that good about what you're doing. But we'll get there. I think we're gonna go through I have like a whole, I know I don't have my webcam on, but I have a freaking massive list of stuff that I'm working on or trying, and like writing videos and seeing stuff. I like just trying out a whole bunch of other stuff. And some of it's new. Like, for instance, this King cover. That's not really within my niche. And it's not something I'm going to probably do a lot of. But it is a good attempt for me to kind of push out of my just tutorial phase, I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I really wanted to do this. I just did. And, you know, if it flops, you know, I'll just try out some of my other big projects. And we'll see. We'll see. I don't know where I'm going to be even in like 6 months. There's a lot that can happen in that amount of time, you know? What's crazy to me to think about is like, it's only been 6 months since YouTube even like was starting to take off for me. That's how short it's been. And that's crazy. April was really the month where things started to go well for me. So who knows what's going to happen in the next 6 months. But I hope that I'll at least be able to continue putting out good content. I really hope the CEO of VShojo answers me. I did send off that email. We're going to see. We're going to see. Hey, that should be fun either way, you know. See what's going on there. Who knows? Maybe I'll eventually get big enough that I can do domo things. Did YouTube channel really grew to your content shift? Yeah. And the more importantly is it was a shift that I felt good about. And you know, like I said, I've got a big old list of stuff in my hand here. Like, I want to do a video about corporate VTubers. I was actually considering doing the stream about that today because I don't know, man. I have a lot of thoughts and none of them are particularly good right now. But I don't know. Then there's the parasocial relationships that you brought up. I'm not quite sure what to do with that yet, but that's on the list. You know, we got VShojo will become #1. That's another title that I'm thinking about. Another one, and that was I thought about turning today's stream into this, was the hidden cost of the hidden cost of streaming. Because like I said, the whole highs and lows that we talked about earlier, those are pretty rough. They're a little rough to deal with. So that's just something that I kind of thought I wanted to talk to people about. You know, we got another video idea that's been in the back of my mind for a while is You Will Fail. And that again talks about, I talk a lot about like a lot of negative things. I guess that's because like I like to try and find ways of not feeling negative. That's my overarching goal whenever I cover something negative, is like, okay, how can I make this a positive thing? Like, how can we talk about how to get around it? You know, what can we do with that? All this stuff. So then covering how I got my first 1,000 subs on YouTube. I know that that'll probably be a pretty good video, if I'm being perfectly honest. From the title, from like that concept alone, that'll probably be pretty good. Why are so many VTubers quitting? Try something new. VTubing on mobile. Focus your efforts. Like, I've got a bunch of video ideas. And some of them are probably good. I've started writing like 7 of them at this point. We'll see how many of them actually get through to, you know, being made. But yeah, I don't know. Negative stuff does need to be talked about. And I do think it's important. You know, I do try and be positive. But more than anything, like, the reason why I talk about so much negative stuff about like why you're probably gonna fail, why you're gonna do all this other stuff, like why this is hard, is because if after all that, you know all that, and you still say, I want to do this, I think you're probably gonna do pretty good. You recognize the hardships. You recognize this is not going to be easy. I actually was talking to a friend last night about this, because I was kind of venting at him, like, my frustrations of this week, the highs, the lows, like that, man, I was getting burnt out, like all this other junk. And he's like, man, that just sounds like way more stuff than I want to deal with. And you know, that's ultimately the thing. It's like this. Okay, you ready for kind of a hot take? Let's go for it. YouTubing isn't hard because of the skills required. YouTubing is hard, or content creation is hard, because of the freaking mental exhaustion you go through. Like, that's why it's hard. Because let's be honest, like, my editing skills have gotten mountains better. I'm by no means the best, but I am so much better than I used to be. I am more structured. I can write scripts better. I feel like my content's getting better researched. You know, I have gotten a huge step up on my skills. And yet the mental game is what is the hardest part. Keeping the motivation, keeping that fire lit to really make something special, that's the hard part. Hey, what's up, Crystal Prism? Yes, I added a slideshow. So that's honestly what I think is the rough part about content creation, is you can have, let's be real here. There's very few people that don't have a lot of ideas. It's just that you're scared to, I'm scared to make them, you know, that's fine. Hey, I appreciate you dropping by. Hope you have a good rest of your day. I need to adjust this. There we go. Aha! Zoom in. I love my new zoom in features. They're so good. So yeah, that's my hot take about YouTube. YouTube requires skill, but that's not the reason why you don't succeed. You don't succeed because of your own mental state. You don't succeed because you don't have the mental fortitude to push through the really crappy times. Because let's be real here. There are people who, I'm not going to put anyone on blast. There are huge YouTube channels that put out the like lowest effort content, you know? Like they can just put it out there, but because they've got the mental perseverance, like they're willing to just dump out, you know, 30 bad videos is like to find the one good one. Like there's people who do that and they succeed. Like, you know what, I actually think the best example of this are clippers. Hey Thorntail, welcome. How you doing? Clippers are probably the people who deal with this the most. When all of your content is these short, relevant videos and you're fighting with literally every other person who's doing them, like you have to know that like 9 out of your 10 clips are just not going to work. But you'll get the one that gets a ton of views, and that gives you the fortitude to push on. And so that's why I think the way that I do is that, you know, like I said, I had 2 bad videos. I had 1 really great one this last week and a half. And the fact that I know I will continue to make bad videos, well, not bad, but less successful videos. We'll put it that way, because I don't think my videos are bad, you know? I think less successful is the correct term to use. Knowing that you will make stuff that doesn't work, but eventually you will make something that works. If you keep trying and improving, I think it's basically impossible for you to not find some level of success. Excuse me. Now, that might not be enough for you to succeed on YouTube, but it might be enough for you to do something else somewhere else. that's the ultimate reality of the situation. Is I know just how much of a dream actually being able to do YouTube as your job is. That is not like, that is not like common. I'm very well aware of this. But like knowing that you can fail and still grow is, I don't know, that's what helps me push through. Man, the longer I talk, the more fired up I get about something, the less cohesive I get. I get too excited and I just want to like, my brain turns up to like Mach 3. It's just like, let's go. Need to brain dump everything. Let's go. Let's go. You know, I am abnormally awake for getting 3 hours of sleep. Oh gosh. Probably because this is a topic I care about. That usually is when like I go ham, is, you know, stuff like this. But they don't get as much attention as being always be like behind. Yeah, and that's the thing is sometimes your bad videos turn into good videos. Or bad ideas turn into good ideas. So it's all about, if you made something you're happy with and you put it out there, what's important is that the next time you put something out there, you're still happy with it. You know, you're continually putting out stuff that you yourself are happy with, because at the end of the day, as long as you can compete against yourself, you can improve against yourself, you will find success. That's honestly what I believe. And that's what I have to measure myself against. So man, that was one hell of a rant. We went on for a while. That was like a half-hour long rant. Good times, good times. This music. Oh, I forgot to add this into the description. DOVA-SYNDROME might get mad if I don't. I'm gonna do that right now while I'm just thinking about it, you know? Oops. Good music. Such good music. This might be like my default music, you know, from now on. It's just good. I think I do want to like build up a small repertoire of like a few different songs that I like go with the different moods, you know? So Saturdays, you know, if we're talking about chill stuff or something like that, then we'll probably have this on in the background because it's just good, you know? What's funny is that the name of this song is Coffee Break. Or Break with Coffee, I think. But what actually is this called? Holy cow, did I forget what this is called? Coffee Day. I knew it was something to do with coffee. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I have updated the stuff. I no longer need to feel bad. All right. Well, that was a good topic. We talked about burnout. We talked about motivation. Did some good stuff. Do I want to go over some of this other stuff? Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Why not? Let's talk about corporate VTubers, shall we? Because Niji Sanji Wave 3 just arrived. I already forgot their group name. Etheria? I don't know. What are your guys' opinion about the new group? Not like any of the individual members, but I don't know, man. I feel like we're entering the phase of VTubing where nothing's new anymore. And like debuts are overdone. No one cares. I don't know. I've been thinking about this a ton the last couple days. About where VTubing is at. We got a bunch more corporate VTubers. We got Crunchyroll as a VTuber now. You know, we had Sonic not that long ago. We've got more Niji Sanji. My guess is pretty soon we'll have the Niji Sanji male wave. Who knows how much longer after that. We'll have more Hololive stuff. I don't know. We've kind of hit the point. Oh, this is... Where's my pen? Oh, no. I need my pen. I need to write this down. This idea that just popped into my head. Did my cats take it? Oh my gosh, I think my cats took it. Cats? They stole my freaking pen. Okay, well, I'll type it down and write it down in my book later. But VTubers, yeah. Let's be, you know, let's just have a nice, brutally honest conversation here. VTubing is not unique anymore. VTubers are kind of over. Like, I almost think it's time to drop VTubing out of my... more and more recently, I've thought about how VTubing doesn't actually matter. Like the term, not like what's going on here. Because obviously I'm sitting in front of you as a VTuber, you know. Obviously. But I think I kind of touched on this. Did I touch on? Yeah, I actually touched on this in my super long video. But no one really got to that point, so I might just make it its own thing. Shh, don't tell anyone. VTubers aren't unique. We're not special. We're not... There's nothing special about being a VTuber. There might have been at some point, but there isn't anymore. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, now it's a tool. We've entered the same, we're going through the same problems that streaming went through, right? Like when streaming was new, it was cool, it was unique, you know? Like it was this underground thing, right? It was this underground little club that you got to be a part of. And now, you know, it's to stand out. You gotta do something. You got to do something crazy. You got to use your avatar as a tool. It's got to be a good tool for things. And that's ultimately why I think, like, that ties into a lot of my thoughts about corporate VTubers is The corporations that are doing it, for the most part, I think are doing it right. Now, AirAsia is a little bit unique because I don't really see how they get value out of having a corporate VTuber like Azora Kurumi. But like Crunchyroll or Sonic or Netflix, which are the other primary three, they actively get something out of having a VTuber as their mascot, right? Or having a streamer that is their mascot, right? That makes sense. That's a great use because it's using the company's icon, putting a person and voice behind it, and hopefully building a following, which will then tie back into your company, you know? So those make sense. But now we've got, you know, wave 3 of Niji Sanji. We're going to have more Hololive. And they're, yeah, okay, here's the hot take. They're all doing the same stuff. Every VTuber streamer ever is just doing the same crap. And that's depressing. You know, like, I'm not that unique, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not that unique, but I'm a hell of a lot more unique than some of the other people who just sit there and stream all day. Like, I'm sorry, but why? Just why? Why? How hard do I want to go? Okay, you know what? There's a reason why so many... You know what? Yeah, we're just gonna go into it. We're gonna have to kill the chill music for this, because this doesn't deserve chill music. This deserves, like, hold on. Let's put on something a little bit more tone fitting, shall we? We're going to talk about VTuber graduations here. I have thoughts. We're going to go ham. I don't care. We got 30, we got like, yeah, screw it. We're going to go for it. Oh, that was really loud. Oh gosh. Okay. So here's the deal. So many VTubers are graduating because they don't freaking add anything to the content sphere. I know that sounds super self-conceited and self-righteous, but guys, you can't be like everyone else if you expect to succeed. You can't do what everyone else is doing. You can't do all this other crap. Like, you have to try and be adding value to people's lives, whether that's, you know, through tutorials, whether that's like coming up with unique stream ideas. I'm sorry, watching you play Monster Hunter is not unique. Watching you play the newest game is not unique. Like that, you can't just sit there and play games, not unless you have a gimmick, like, you know, gosh dang it. VTubers are becoming this way too. Like, guys, your model might look crazy, no one cares. They might look at it for like a little bit, but I guarantee that if you yourself are not interesting as a person, they're just going to go away. That's what's going to happen. If your primary aesthetic is being a VTuber, like if that's what all of your stuff is around, that's what you base your self-worth around, guess what? There's 5,000 other VTubers out there, and probably 1,000 of them are doing it better than you. That's true of me. That's true of you. That's true of everyone. That's true of Hololive. Hololive is not the top tier streamers of the world. I'm sorry. Like, that's just content. someone is always going to be doing something better than you if you're just trying to copy everyone else. The reason why Hololive succeeds is because they have original songs. They have such, their quality of stuff is at such a high level that they can get away with doing normal stuff. You know, you're not special. I'm not special. Gosh. Okay, that was a little bit of a rant, but we're gonna go back to being chill. Hopefully. Just, I don't know. I see it all the time. I have people message me. There's a quote that I try to live by, and I don't always live by it. It's something I've been getting better at. Gosh dang it. Good old nose clogs coming back. But the thing I try to live by, you have to do what no one else will so you can have what no one else can. Which is actually, funnily enough, another video I want to make. You have to be something special. You can't. You know what? I'm actually gonna throw out another hot take. Streaming is easier than video. Streaming is easier than genuine content creation. Like, and when I say streaming, I'm talking about we're just gonna play games. We're gonna collab with people and play games. Like, I'm sorry. That's the easy part of content. That's why everyone does it. You know? That's why everyone does it. So, welcome back. You missed my rant about people. The easy part of content creation is streaming. Streaming with friends, streaming games, basically pushing the go live button and not having an idea of really what you want to do other than, oh, I'm going to play this game. I'm sorry, that's easy content. Everyone else can do it. That's why you're never going to get found. That's why you're not going to succeed, is because anyone can do that. You have to have something that sets you apart. For some people, they've got awesome stream overlays. You know, they do all these, you know, cool quick transitions. Like, that's kind of the reason why I added some of these zoom buttons. You know, I want to add more stuff. I want to do more things with my, like, while I'm streaming to make things more interesting, you know, stuff like this. What the prime example of that to me is Poppy the Lich King. His stream is freaking nuts, dude. He is high octane, go a million miles an hour. Like, that guy is crazy. And it's because his mentality is so good. He is there. And once you see his stream, you can't not think about his stream. It's freaking insane. That's why he succeeds. And, you know, for me, it's the reason why I feel like I succeed is because I make everything about giving you guys value. When you're here, you're going to learn something. You're going to come away with knowledge. You're going to, you know, you will be a better person, hopefully, better content creator, because you listen to me say something. That's my goal. That's what value I add. If I was just sitting here gaming, you know, you guys might come to hang out every once in a while, but like, I'm not going to grow, you know, not very fast, at least, because I'm not doing anything different. Like, that's the real thing. So that's why so many VTubers are graduating. They got into VTubing because they thought that that's what would set them apart, and it doesn't. It's not unique. You're not special. You can use it as a tool, but if you're not using the tool to its best performance, like, what are you doing? You know? I don't know. just something I think about a lot. People ask me how to succeed, and the answer is you got to do something new. You got to be unique. You got to find that thing that makes you get up in the morning. Find that thing that you can't wait to stream, you know? Now, you can be a very successful, you know, gaming streamer, but you have to care about what you're doing. Like, often the times when people watch you the most is when you're really invested emotionally into something, you know, because they can tell that your excitement's genuine. I honestly believe that. I think that's true of everyone. Is if people can tell you're excited about whatever the hell you're doing, like that excitement runs off on them. It's like, you know, if there's a game that you really want to stream, like you are super excited, yeah, that might work. But you have to make sure that you like that needs to be every stream, or at least most streams. Because if you're just going live for the sake of going live, you are so much better off just not. Like, find out something else that you can be super excited for. Maybe that's a video, maybe that's editing your last stream. Like, there's a whole bunch of things you can do. But if you're not excited to go live, find out why and fix it. You know, if it's because you're streaming too much, take a day off. That's why I could enjoy these Saturday streams as much as I do, honestly. It's because I don't stream that often. Every stream I look forward to, because I know, like, all right, this is my 2 hours a week. I gotta sit down, I gotta talk with you guys. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be fun. And then I'm done. And then I wait till next week and I do it again. Could I stream more? Yeah, I absolutely could. Would they be as good quality, high content? No, probably not. In fact, definitely not. I have past data to show that, you know, back when I streamed 3 times a week. I couldn't get excited about every stream. And that's what's so important, is every stream needs to be a performance in some way. Like, even if you're just sitting here chilling with chat, like, putting out your best foot forward is so important. So, and I think too many people, especially VTubers, they don't want to do that. They want VTubing to be what carries them to success, and they don't want to put in the effort to learn everything else. And that's why they fail. That's why they graduate. That's why they move on. Because guys, this job can really suck. Being a YouTuber is awesome. And I don't even do it full time. I just like doing it. But even I know, like, man, this job can really suck the life out of you. And so you better be very sure, you know, you better be damn sure this is what you want to do. Because, okay, so you know what, let's put a little perspective into things. This is always fun. I streamed for 8 months, you know, sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes 5 times a week, and got nowhere. If I had been working like a part-time job for the same amount of time I'd been doing YouTube stuff, I would have made, you know, 20, 30,000 freaking dollars. Probably. Like 8 months, you know, part-time job, that's got to be around 20,000, you know. Like, there are so many easier ways to make money than content. Content's not easy. It's so freaking hard. But I love it. And that's why, even though, like, you know, this week was a lot of highs and lows, and it really drained me. That's why I'm thinking about, like, man, I want to get a video out by Monday. Like, you know, even though I am mentally exhausted, I still want to push forward, you know? And there, you know, there will be days where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. But they're like singular days, singular hours. If at the end of the day, you know, you let a day go by to deal with a bad experience or whatever, and you just get that restless feeling like you need to make something, that's when you know you're going to do fine. Because I need to make videos. It's not a want anymore. Like, I need to create. I would go ballistic. And honestly, that's kind of why I felt like I was super depressed for like the last couple of years. Like, not super depressed, but like very aimless, not really knowing what the hell I was doing. Because I actually did YouTube for almost a year back in 2014, so 7 years ago. I didn't take it as seriously as I should, and I kind of got talked into focusing on my work path at the time. So I got full time and I've been doing that, but it's never been enough. But then once I got back into YouTube this time, back into streaming and all this stuff, it felt good, you know? Oh, sorry, you got a dip. Hey, no problem, man. Have a good night, because that's, I assume, what you're doing is going to sleep. Have a good one, man. I'm actually going to be winding down here in just a minute anyways, so. There's actually a great motivational video that I watched one time that had a really good concept of like, when you're going for something that's kind of out there like YouTube is, you gotta want this as bad as you want like food and stuff. And then and only then, when like you can't stop thinking about this, you can't stop thinking about it, you got to keep making stuff, that's when you're gonna do well. This conversation kind of took a lot of weird turns today. Like a lot of weird turns. But you know what? That's okay. I think we had a good discussion. I hope that, you know, you guys got some good information. And, you know, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like I'm just going to call it here. Yeah, this is good. This is a good place to call it. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for dropping by. Like I said, I hope that you learned some stuff. I tried to give my thoughts on everything. I hope that it came away with, you learning some stuff. Let me know if it did. This is kind of the format I want to take on most streams now. Is I want to have a topic, like a central theme, or we at least talk about it, And yeah, you know what? Thanks for dropping by, everyone. This is actually one of my more favorite streams in recent history. I don't know why. It's just good. It's good. So, thank you everyone for coming by. We're going to go ahead and call it here. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever in the world you are. And I will see you all next time.